We've got some
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah. Sweet. So, oh boy. Today, we're going to be talking about a special topic many are afraid of. Sales. We were actually afraid of selling for the longest time, but fear no more, my friends. Coincidentally, today's guest knows all about sales and he's ready to spill the beans.
He's here to break all your false beliefs around selling. Warning, his epicness might be too much to handle, so don't let yourself get distracted. He's here to talk high ticket sales, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure someone that has built and sold 2 7-figure businesses has some goodies to share.
Not only that, he has also helped 3 businesses scale into 8 figures. Impressive. And you know what? He's ready to help you make a massive impact in your business and allow you to create the income that will support the lifestyle of your dreams.
I'm so ready for this, guys. Please welcome master salesman, happy husband, and the fly fishing champ in our hearts, Mr. Sean Malone!
Hey! Guys, that's one heck of an intro. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today. Yes, love the show. How's it going?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much for being here.
I know, we could see that behind the scenes and you were like, getting ready for battle. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Always ready.
Dude, Sean, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for connecting a few weeks back. And, we had this awesome conversation. We jumped on a call, then we came to your Facebook group. And wow, this has been like truly, truly awesome. I want you to share, who are you with the audience? What you've done. We mentioned some of that in the intro, but wow, man, like when we had that conversation, I was like starstruck, basically. I was like, oh, this guy, MVP, and it's amazing. So I wanted you to like explain a little bit of your story, who you are, and then what do you do now?
Yeah, well, thank you so much again. Love you guys. Love what you do. Love what you stand for most of all, and how you impact people. I think is just super valuable with the content repurposing and the secret softwares and all the things that you do, which are awesome. So I love that. I'll take you back. Let's go back about 20 years. We'll probably start there. That's a great place to start. I came out of college.
Time machine, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're on a time machine. Here we go. Boom. 20 years back. I came out of college and I asked my dad a question. I said, Dad, how do I make a lot of money? And he goes, well, you got 3 choices, son. You can, are you a CEO? And I thought for a minute there, I was like, what would a CEO know? Do I know those things? No, I'm like 21, 22 years old. I had no idea. So no, I am not a CEO. That one's out. Okay, Dad, what's the second thing? And he says, well, are you an entertainer? And I was like, well, I don't play guitar. I don't know how to rap. I'm not a good dancer. I'm not a professional soccer player like you guys. So no, I'm not an entertainer either. So that one's out. And then he goes, well, you better go learn sales. I was like, okay, that sounds good. That's probably where I should go then. So I found a job selling commodities. So for everybody that's listening right now, commodities are the things that everybody needs and nobody cares about. Example, circuit boards. Example, wire harnesses, the stuff that would go into your phone. Like if you have a phone, all the cool circuitry inside there, that was what I used to sell, right? And so that's when I started selling out of college. And I was horrible. Like I was so bad at sales. It was almost like I was picking up the phone every day and I was making 40 cold calls. I was given a book. It's this manufacturer's directory of all these different companies to call. And I started calling them and it just 40 calls a day with no results, 40 calls a day, no results. And this went on for like 2 weeks. And then I was like, maybe it's my activity level. So then I pushed it upward and I was doing 80 calls a day, no results. And I did that for a week. And then my boss comes to me on Friday. His name was Tim. And he says, Sean, you suck. And I was like, whoa, well, like, what's happening? And so I was like, well, okay, that like really hurts because I don't want to lose a job. He's like, you better go figure this out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to let you go. I don't know what it's all about, but like, go get out of here. So I was like, okay. So I left that weekend and I got back to my house and I was really depressed. And so I called my dad and I was like, Dad, like, this is what's happening. And he goes, tell you what. And he's like, go down to the library, pick out a book, and then go read it. And I was like, huh, great advice. So I went down to the library and I literally picked out a book. And then I actually was like, whoa, I started reading this book right here. This is the very first book I bought 20 years ago, How to Master the Art of Selling Anything by Tom Hopkins. And I literally started reading that book and I was like, whoa, this is new and interesting and different. So I went back to work on Monday and I started making these calls. And my fourth call in, I booked an appointment. Never done that before. I was like, whoa, this is all new. And that moment in my life transformed my trajectory.
Wow.
So then I'm on this mission of, okay, now I'm a nut. I'm going to go deep into learning this stuff. I'm going to become the best communicator I could ever become. And so that really started my journey on sales. And luckily I was able to kind of forge my way back through that. I duct taped the system together, started making some sales. And then I started getting a little bit better at it. And then I took study under another guy. He's a French guy. He's really good at sales. And him and I took a company from 3 million in revenue to 38 million in just over 17 months.
Wow.
Which was superpower. Yeah.
You have the crowd cheering for you, man. Like, that's impressive.
So after we hit that, then I was like, okay, that's really cool. I'd made quite a bit of money as a commission guy. And I was like, I want my own business. I was hungry to become a business owner. And that's where I thought, okay, well, I've got some cash now. What am I going to do? And at the time, one of my friends from college, her dad was looking for a business partner in the field that I was already selling. I thought, shoot, I've already done this here with, 3 to 37 million. I could do it again with my own thing, would be even better. So I invested everything. I sold everything I had. I had 2 houses. I sold them. I sold all my motors. I sold everything I had. And I went double down on myself and my own brain. And I moved from Colorado to Las Vegas. And I bought 50% or 47% of this electronics company. And that's where we did circuit boards. And so I started with that company with what I knew. And 4 years later, I built that one up from 400K up into 8 million a year in revenue.
Wow.
And I went from 7 employees to 110 simply because of one thing. The one thing that saved my life and the one thing that'll save everybody listening to this podcast life is sales, is communication, is sales, and a constant flow of it. So I was like, okay, that's amazing. And that was really like one of my big takeaways is like always lean on sales. In fact, if you look at sales as a profession, it's older than prostitution, which is claimed to be the oldest ever. But sales became before that because somebody was convincing somebody else to do something and that's really where it came from. So I thought to myself, man, just master this thing and keep going. So we did well. And then at that stage, we were growing this business really well. My business partner was a little bit older, wanted to kind of chase his grandkids. And I went on a business trip to California. Now I was doing really cool things. Like I was selling these cryogenic laser guidance systems for missiles across the sky. We were doing like command centers, like the battle packs for all the military guys, the first responders. And so it was really cool stuff. And I was loving it. And so I was in California. I was working with a company called L3 Communications. And I was working with all their engineers. And I get this call from my business partner. He says, Sean, you got to get home in a hurry. Like something's wrong. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I left my meeting. It was supposed to be like a week-long meeting. And I left like day 2, flew back. I said, what's the deal? And literally I walk into his office and he said, I've sold the company. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm 47% owner of this thing. Like, what's happening?
I should know.
You would think. And I literally, I was so dumbfounded. I was like, this doesn't even make sense, right? And so anyway, that was how I found out about this. And I was like almost 50% owner of this company. And at that point, I was like, oh, like, and anyway, I lost a lot of money on that whole endeavor. And it put me into a really dark place in my life. And that was right when I met my wife. And so as the journey continues, I met my wife. She poured belief into me, and I was so grateful for that. And I'm always grateful for her being, my superstar, champion, rock star, like life partner, fishing partner, fly fishing partner. Yes, you mentioned that. And so we started our journey on what we're going to do next. And so I took a job selling some roofing materials and broke a few sales records. And then I realized like, oh man, I don't like working in the roofing world, no disrespect, but I just don't want to be in that place. And then after that, I said, what are we going to do? And my wife, Melissa, saw a Facebook ad, and that drew us into the online world. And as I poured into the online world, we started as affiliates, and we had a high ticket program that was about $10,500 that we were selling on the back end of this really kind of clunky marketing system. And we actually made some pretty big inroads simply because I knew how to sell. So I took that skill. It's like the one thing that always just goes in everything I've ever done is like the backbone is sales. The backbone is sales, like be good at communications. And that was the message that I was like hearing over and over. Yeah. And because it saved me, you know? Yeah. And so we built this army of affiliates because we had this program. We had personally, like we built a list of 300,000 people, and we had 2,500 people in our program itself. And they were all pressuring us, hey, you guys need a software company. And we're like, dude, we've never built a software company before. Why would we go do this? And so then we're like, and it just kept coming, like pressure, like this clunky system you guys have, it doesn't work. You need a new one. So we're like, okay. Then we built a software company, knew nothing about it. And at this stage, we'd kind of met Russell and the Inner Circle and everybody at ClickFunnels and had gone through this journey. And literally, we started building the software company, and that's what got us that award right over there. So it was we did $1 million. It was a $99 offer. We did $1 million in 10 months to win that award on $99. And then on the back side of that, we were selling that $10,500 system. We ended up selling roughly about 12 million or so, and just phenomenal.
Another round of applause. There we go.
As you're telling us this, you know, I think we kind of know that we're talking to a person that's an expert in sales. I just want to put it out there for those that haven't caught it yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean, continue.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah. So what do we do next? So then we're like at this point where we're in the Inner Circle. Our business is going really well, but we're miserable. We don't have the time anymore. We don't know how to leverage and duplicate and get our calendar back because we're working 16 to 18 hours a day. That software company, even though it was super successful and provided a lot of cash flow and all these other good things, drove us into the burnout zone. And I'm not talking about like any burnout zone that anyone's ever been to. I'm talking about the burnout zone where you're driving down the highway and you're like, what if I just drove off the edge of the road? I'm at that point. And right at that time, thank you, Alex Sharfin came into my world. And we ended up joining his forces with his program. And literally, he was the person that gave us time back, gave us a little bit of sanity. And then Russell Brunson, forever our marketing coach, the best in the world, in my opinion, humbly, he said during one of our meetings, we were at the Inner Circle meetings, right? And one of the meetings, these meetings are amazing. You have the best minds in marketing in the world in one room, and everyone's going on stage sharing these amazing stories about their business, how they're winning, what they're doing, what's working for them, what's not, where they need help. Yeah. And so we got up there, we start giving our presentation, and it's just this dramatic saga story where people are crying. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. Like, how do you live on Taco Bell, Kangen water, and coffee? Like, that's the worst diet anyone's ever had. Like, I did that, it was a bad place. And so these guys are like, at the end of my presentation, Russell stands up and he says, Sean, you guys need to kill your baby. And that's some pretty powerful advice. Yeah. We have this company here that's pumped out, $10+ million on the back end and $1 million to win the award. And he's saying you need to kill your baby. And he's like, you hate your audience. Your people you're serving are not the right fit. Yeah. And that was this big light bulb moment in my life where I was like, oh my God, like, you're so right. Like, if I love the people I served, it would be fun to actually work the hours I want to work. Yes. And I was like, holy cow, that changed a lot in my life. And so then we were at a stronghold. We're like, what do we do? So my business partner, he's the CEO of our company. His name's Chris Baden. He's amazing. He's like my moral pillar of truth, and I always lean on him for that. And I said to him, like, what are we going to do? And again, enter Alex Sharfin, says, yo, you guys need to do what you're good at. What are you good at? And then we said, hey, sales, like, that's our thing. And he said, why don't you go talk to a bunch of these online entrepreneurs about their sales? Do they have any problems you can solve? Great idea. So we went, we literally spoke to about 40 people that were in the space that had their own online businesses that were doing well. And every single one of them had a sales problem. And so shocking, right?
Shocking.
And so Chris and I are like, there it is. We're going to build a high ticket sales consulting agency that builds sales ecosystems. How do you hire, onboard, and train a sales team that will flourish with a great, solid foundation, right? And so we developed a little bit of proprietary language. We had a system that works bulletproof wise in terms of selling, which we'll get into. I've got a bunch of goodies for you guys. And literally we got to this place where it was like we started serving all these guys and doing really well. And we still have our high ticket consulting agency. In fact, we have a 300K offer we put out yesterday. We closed one yesterday. I was so excited about it. Another one. Woo!
We gotta keep it coming. I'm like, this is like win after win after win after win. I love it, man. Yes, I hope this serves as inspiration for everybody listening. Please, like just take it in, consume it, enjoy it, and then go execute, because Sean here is like literally putting you on a path of success, right? And I think there's one word: sales. Yep. So go learn from Sean. Okay, sorry, Sean, continue. Let's keep going on this streak of wins.
I love it. Well, there's a lot of up and down. It wasn't just all wins.
It's okay.
Anybody who says it's all ups is lying to you, and you should run away from.
Absolutely.
So at this point now, we're like, we have the sales consulting agency, and we're just looking at patterns of all these entrepreneurs that we're working with and serving. And they're some of the sharpest people in the world, but they don't want to go build a sales team and all that stuff. So it wasn't that they didn't know how to build a sales team. It wasn't that they didn't know anything other than they just hadn't done it before, kind of a thing. But the biggest one thing that we found that was just common with all of the entrepreneurs that we were serving was not so much the conversion. Because if you're truly passionate, and we get into this concept called conviction selling, like if you're not sold on your own thing, don't go sell it. Take the weekend and figure out how to sell yourself on your own thing before you go start talking to other people. Because if you don't, when you talk to those other people, they'll feel it, they'll know it, and they'll just fifth sense, sixth sense feel it, right? They won't get it. So if you're not convicted about your own thing, don't go sell it is a very good piece of advice for anybody that wants to do well in sales. And so we saw the whole thing was this. So the entrepreneurs were good at sales. They were good at when somebody spoke with them that was qualified, they could get them to convert into their mechanism, whether it's product, service, whatever. And so we found the biggest common denominator of all these entrepreneurs was they didn't know how to consistently put qualified opportunity on their calendar. Because we can all talk about getting leads, and people are amazing at getting leads, but leads don't equal dollars unless you can convert the lead. So how do you get that lead to show up on your calendar is the more important piece. Now, here's the secret. It takes 7 to 12 touches. All these experts in the sales field say this, 7 to 12 touches from a cold person that you've never met and talked to before until they end up, investing into the thing that you have. So what if Chris and I said, why don't we go build this little transformational program as a passion project to solve this at scale for all these entrepreneurs? So here's the secret sauce of what we decided to do. We took the formula that built this business and every other business that we'd ever built before together, and we literally designed a way on social. We call it the messenger rifle approach, sort of a thing, where you embed 7 different touches through a very casual social conversation on social media to get them into a place where you have a systematic way of putting them on your calendar. So it's a system that you put in place, very simple to do. And then the thing is this, entrepreneurs, their most valuable asset is time. We can all agree on this, correct?
100%, yes. 1,000%.
1,000%. Yeah. So prospecting in this fashion, this is one way of prospecting. The way that we teach is, and like what you guys is prospecting, you do it too, right? Through content's your vehicle. And it's amazing how you do what you do. And I love it to death.
Thank you.
And it's always an and strategy, right? So we start with the fastest. So so what we did, we built a mastermind with this model. We went cold to close in 6 days with our first high ticket system. So we knew it worked. And then we started teaching other people. But the secret is once you get them onto your calendar, then it's just an easy conversation. But the thing about it is entrepreneurs, limited resources, time. So this system takes time. So what do? We showed everybody, we geared up with one of the virtual assistant builders, and she's one of the best in the world at teaching this. And we had her come in and show everybody in our program, like how to hire a VA step by step, and then how to run the system. So it frees up all the time for the entrepreneur. So at the end of the day, you come out with a system that we know is going to fill your calendar every day with qualified people and a VA to run it. And then all the entrepreneur now has to do, or the sales force, is just have the conversion conversation.
Wow. I love it. And I love that term, conversion conversation.
Yes.
That's it. And then literally, so then we said, you know what, if we opened up this leg of our company into a mastermind fashion, which is amazing. And I love it. And, you know, if anyone's out there that's struggling with this problem, I know we can help, and I know these guys can help too. But the key is that we opened this branch of our business, and it literally exploded. Like, it's exploding right now, and it works really well. And I'm just really grateful about it. And I got a lot of energy around it right now. And that's why I believe the one thing I can share is this, like, everyone knows prospecting is the solution, but nobody likes to do prospecting because it sucks and it's hard work.
Yes.
But here on the flip side is it's a low skill activity if you can systemize it and then outsource the labor.
That's the secret. Yep.
Oh man, that right there is what we started calling, what my brother started calling a golden boulder. It's not even a golden nugget, it's a golden boulder right there. It's impressive. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Now it became a thing. Golden boulder, hashtag golden boulder, hashtag table fit. All right. Dude, Sean, I mean, I'm going through my notes here, and it's incredible. You know, I'm gonna have to like re-listen all of this, and I encourage everybody to go do it again, because that path that you said, yes, up and downs, but at the same time, it's like, first I want to highlight the mindset aspect of it. You know, you in several times of that story, you were down and you looked for help, right? You went for people that knew what they were doing, that they probably already lived while you were living, you know, hence come in, you know, Alex or Russell or the people in the inner circle, and you ask for help. So a lot of people out there that are starting, they think they got to do everything themselves, right? And we hear like this, like self-made. That's.
I mean, we were those. We were like, how can we do everything ourselves? You know?
So amazing that you share how you lean on others as well, and you speak about Chris. You know, we met him also last week. Amazing guy. So I think that's very important too. And then after that is like literally execution. Like it was just relentless execution. And at the time, like just the little sprinkle is obviously sales that keeps the machine moving, right? A lot of people try to focus on the systems and optimizing this and that. And I think we can call it procrastination big time, because then we're so afraid of having these freaking conversations, you know, even today, you know, with ourselves, it can happen, right?
Yeah.
Once you start seeing that success, it's so exciting to go out. See, you know, I think I'm in the exciting phase. Fonzie, I don't know where you are, but I remember when we first started selling $30 soccer memberships, $30 a month, right? And it was
we were scared,
freaking terrified, right? We're like, oh man. And now, you know, our offer is like at least four digits, right? And it's like, okay, let's go after this thing. How do you get there? How do you like continue to move on to improve to get to that point, right? You just mentioned you just sold 300 grand, right? And so there's obviously some elements in there. What do you consider, like, it personally, right? When you're about to have that conversation, like, I guess, how do you call it? The closing conversation, is it?
No, conversion.
The conversion.
Wait, before you get to that question, I just want to tell you why I love the conversion conversations. Because when we started our 45 live challenge, right, and we started posting content out there, and eventually people like it and commenting and stuff, we randomly were like, you know what? Let's take that as permission from those people for us to reach out to them, start a conversation, right? And we came up with this term, content conversation. So when you're telling me, you know, conversion conversation, I'm like, whoa, this is so cool, man. Like it relates so much
together.
You know?
Content conversion conversation.
Yeah, let's just mix it up, you know.
Yeah, it's like the 3 C's. It's like the perfect trifecta, man. I love that.
There we go.
Boom, boom, boom. And you know, it's funny that you mentioned, you know, it takes 7 to 12 touches. Same thing. You know, I was experiencing that in my previous industry where we were having these conversations, and And then people tend to see it as just a number. And it's like, hey, you know, come to the studio, or hey, come to my location. And they count that as a point of contact. Is that really like a quality point of contact? And I'm assuming that your answer to that is going to be no, because you guys take the relationship side of the thing like really well, right? And it's like, how do I engage? How do I actually have a really meaningful conversation with this person? So then the trust goes high, right? Goes up. And then I can have that conversation at the end that's just going to provide a solution for them that they actually need and that they want, right? So it's incredible what you guys have built, and I'm extremely excited to have you here. So when you're having, like, what is the work that somebody can go from like a $30 freaking out about selling $30 a month, right, to selling 6 figures, right? What are some of the key elements in there?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked this question, because it's an epic question, and the answer is very simple, or at least I try to keep it very simple. There's 7 things you need to know, and there's 3 things you need to get. Okay, so if we go into a conversation knowing that there's 7 things we need to know and there's 3 things we need to get, what are they? Well, the 7 things you need to know are the different little buckets of the sales conversation. Okay, the first bucket is the bonding bucket, right? The bonding connection bucket. The fastest way to go through this is literally to listen to your prospect and listen to the speed that they speak at, the volume they speak at, the pace, if they're talking slowly, if they're up in your face and they're talking loud and it's really exciting, whatever it is, be aware and observant of this and copy or mimic it for the first 90 seconds. That's it. The reason you do this is because the neuroscience of sales will share that it will drop the guard, the barriers of trust and trustability and likability, simply because you're speaking in their filter. That's the easiest way to put it. Yeah. So for the first 90 seconds, whenever you speak to anybody new in a sales conversation and you're selling something that's worth more than 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, I used to teach people to sell 7-figure deals. Like that's what I did, big boardroom sales. Like I actually taught it for a while. And the secret is that, right? So just mimic the people that you're speaking with for the first 90 seconds. That's the first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know, and this is almost a know and execution piece, is you always need to know or set the agenda for the call. We call it the rules of the game. So if you take the word game, picture this for a second. A baseball game. When the baseball game first starts, what happens? Before the game starts, you have the umpire at home plate, and the two coaches walk out and they're talking to the umpire. During this meeting, okay, they're deciding the rules of the game. Same thing in soccer. You have the referee and the 2 captains in the middle of the field, right? Same thing.
Absolutely.
And you discuss, if the ball goes through that fence, it's out of bounds. If this happens, this is the rule. Like those are the rules of the game that you go play. Now, same thing with a sales call, but just do it in a fashion that's very, very simple. I use the analogy GAME, G-A-M-E. Here's what it stands for. First, G, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you today. A stands for ask. Today during our meeting, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I need to dig into your world and figure out if you have the one problem that I solve. I'm sure M is me. I'm sure you're going to have some questions for me about maybe what I do and how things work. And E stands for end. At the end, this is going to happen. Either we're going to agree that we're a fit to work together, or we're going to figure out how to refer each other, or it's going to be an amazing conversation. Does that sound okay? And when you've set the rules of the game or the rules of engagement of the sales conversation, now we start with the 3 things you need to do. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is you need to like dig as if you were a psychologist. I say it's sales is a Broadway play put on by a psychiatrist. That's how I call it, right? So you need to be the psychiatrist as a sales professional. And the secret is dissect their world to see if the one problem that you solve, again, that's key. What's the one problem you solve? If you don't know that yet, go figure that out. That's important. Dissect them in the conversation of, do they have this problem or not? Have your set criteria, questions, whatever you're going to ask. And when you have yes or no, you'll know which way to go. If it's a no, then move into the referral conversation. If it's a yes, then you move to the second thing you need to do, which is understand the budget, understand their money move, understand, do they have the time, the energy, the effort, the money to involve themselves in your service or product or whatever you do. So quick couple of questions around the budget. Do you have the time, energy, money, and effort and you really want to solve this problem? Yes, I do. Okay, great. Third thing you need to do is understand their buying process. And it's basically the 5 W's: who, what, why, when, and where. Who besides yourself is involved in the decision process? How do you make decisions around here? Is there a certain amount that we can go over or under without getting a certain approval from other people? Do you have to have a boardroom meeting? Whatever the process is, that's the last thing you need to do. And so when you have that, you have the problem you can solve, yes or no. You understand how they can afford it. And then you understand how they make decisions and who makes the decisions. Those are the only 3 elements you need to close any deal, no matter how big it is. Wow. Okay. And then on the back end of it, the only last piece of the sales call at this point is you're either going to close the deal or you're going to set something called a clear future. And a clear future is just simply what's the one piece of homework you want your prospect to do, and what time and what day are you meeting again? Pull out your calendar. Let's put it on right now. And you do that before you get off the end of the call so that everybody's very clear on, yes, salesperson's going to solve problem, prospect has problem, this is the date and time we're going to meet, and this is the one thing they need to do in order to show the salesperson that they are hungry and they do want to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And then when you meet the second call, it's just a recap of all of that, and you say, here's the process of how we're going to solve all the rest of it.
Wow. I just want to
masterclass.
Yeah, I just want you to know that I'm going to clip this little part right here and I'm going to listen to it every day before I go to sleep. It is absolutely amazing, man. This is fantastic. And
he was actually asking me yesterday, like, hey, can you record your sales calls? Because lately I've been taking on those calls, and we don't need to record them anymore. You got them right here. This is what you're going to do from now on.
This is, that's it. I want to share a couple of things. First, the mirroring thing, the energy at first that you mentioned, it gives me high Chris Voss vibes, the FBI negotiator. Man, that could have been a career, you could have been successful negotiating with to save some hostages and stuff like that. But I think that is absolutely amazing. And looking back at the podcast, I realized you were doing that as well, because we started, full of energy. And I mean, we're still on full of energy. You're still full of energy. But at the beginning, your energy was matching our energy as well, right? Which does exactly the same that you describe right here, which is absolutely amazing. And then while you were going through your process of selling, in my mind, I'm like, man, this guy had to train Alex Charfen's salesmen because I'm
just tell us, did you train Jeremy?
Did you train Jeremy?
No. Jeremy's awesome though. He understands it. He understands the flow, and it's really like there's a lot of different. And the one thing everyone said, oh, what's the best selling system? Like, because when you have most people don't have a selling system.
Yes.
What I just walked through is a system that you can put in play in your business. And what's cool about recording this, right? So if you really truly want to improve your sales force, the next step as a sales manager is you have your calls recorded, and then you have your sales system, like the seven things you need to know, the 3 things you need to do. That's a system. And then all we need to do is say, listening to the call recording, did he do this? Yes or no? What did it sound like? How could we improve in that little bucket? Next one. And by the end, you're like, here's all the places I need to improve. This is how I move my sales conversation to go faster.
Yeah.
Oh, and man. This is so cool. I'm so excited right now.
Universe works in wonderful things. I think Fonzie was putting these out there to the universe, be like, okay, let's make it happen, and it did. So
I bring Jeremy up, right? And for those listening right now, they're like, who's Jeremy? Jeremy is one of Alex Charfen's sales guys, and he is absolutely fantastic. I remember my brother and I, we hop in a sales conversation with him, right? And we say it was a transformational experience.
We were the 3 of us were crying together. We were like,
So what you said kind of guide them through the story to bring the pain out, the problems, right? You need to know if the problem that they have is the one that you can solve. While he was guiding us through that, it was therapeutic, man. We were there at the end of the conversation. We look at each other and we were like, wow, this has been the absolute best sales call we've ever been. We were excited. We're like, this is so cool. And immediately we were like, take notes. What did he do? What did he say? Right? Because we want to make people feel like that when we talk with them, right? When we're not trying to sell them or trying to convince them, right? When we're talking about our business and we want to know if it's going to be a good partnership or not. It was absolutely fantastic. And the last thing I want to add here is you said you sell the system, right? And I think that is so exciting because, you know, when we started, I was super victim of this, the shiny object syndrome. Oh, what is that thing that is going to give me the quick win? But it's a matter of principles. Like, we need to learn the principles behind things, right? And your system is all based on principles as well. And it is sustainable. Like, it can endure, you know, companies for the longest time. You can sell using this system for years and years and years. And what I find so exciting is that actually not too long ago, I came with this little analogy. And when I hub with people, I'm telling them like, hey, look, like, businesses are like humans, right? And the first part, I actually heard it from Myron Golden. And I was like, the businesses, they have a lifespan. Humans, we have a lifespan, right? Businesses, we have cash flow to survive. And humans, they have the blood flow. They need blood flow to survive. And then I'm like, and humans, we need habits. We need habit. That's what makes us, right? Like, we have good habits, bad habits. And like humans, businesses, they have systems. Those are the habits of the business. And what came to my realization was that as a human, I cannot buy other people's habits. I have to learn them. But the advantage of a business is that we can actually go to Sean right here if we're having trouble selling, and we're like, Sean, I want you to teach me your system. I want to learn your system.
Yeah.
And immediately we can plug it into our business, and that gives us a massive advantage, right? And a lot of problems that I see people having is like, they don't even know that systems are a part of the business. I didn't even know for like 3 years. I was just doing tasks here and there and tried to get things done here and there, but nothing was
systematized.
Systematized. I couldn't replicate results over and over again. And what you're talking about today, it just gets me so excited because I love the way you put it, and I love the way you shared it. So again, this is a good incentive for everybody that is listening or watching to go and build systems around around your business. But even better, go and work with Sean, because he's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, just go ask him. That's it.
I just want to add to that because I think it's really, really valuable. And we live by what we call the S cubed code. So S cubed code is stability, systems, and speed. So the size or the growth and the speed of your business is dictated by the capacity of your systems. Let me say it again. The growth and the speed of your business is dictated by the capacity of your systems. So if your systems suck, your business is going to suck.
Yeah.
Period.
Wow. That is. Oh man,
stop throwing boulders, man. Stop it.
Yeah. I feel like we are on like a crusade, and they have those. How do you call those? Wow, I forgot the name of those. So the joke is gonna make no sense now.
Come on, Fuzzy, bring it back.
How do you call it? They throw the big boulders on the
catapults.
Catapults.
Yeah, catapults, man.
I struggle, man.
Wow, you're English today.
My mind is in this, sales mode, Sean mode. Oh, absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so much.
It's incredible, man. Like, thank you for sharing that. I mean, the growth and speed of your business is dictated by the capacity of your systems. Mm-hmm. Did I get it right?
That was perfect.
We're going to repeat it again. The growth and speed of your business is dictated by the capacity of your systems.
Yeah. I do have another question, right? And is, what does it take for someone? When you see someone that fears sales, right? Mm-hmm. That they don't perceive it as I'm giving value to someone with my solution, but rather they perceive it as I'm taking away their money, right? How would you go about changing their perspective, right? What is it that it has to happen inside of them to start seeing sales as, an extremely viable way of helping people?
Yeah, so another really fantastic question. And again, the answer is super simple. When I see that in the marketplace and I'm working with an entrepreneur in a place who's like, I don't feel like sales is the thing, it's slimy, this or that. Here's what's happening. They have a lack of clarity. Okay, so how do you give them clarity is you say, no, we're not trying to convince, persuade, or manipulate people to give us money. We're creating an offer that's going to change their life. It's a total dynamic shift of your mindset.
Yeah.
And when you focus on the easiest way to do this is literally to figure out what's the one problem that you solve for them. And have you gotten results doing that? And if they can't answer the one sentence, so like when people ask me, hey, Sean, what problem do you solve? I say, I seek hungry B2B business owners that struggle with consistently putting qualified people on their calendar. That's the problem I solve. How I do it is through a prospecting system, right? With the labor outsourced to VAs. And then when the calendar fills up and they stumble into the selling conversation, now it's just fine tuning all the system they have to actually convert. And that's the easy part. But the hard part is like, how do you consistently do it? So like when people ask like, Sean, what do you do? That's what I do. That's the problem I solve. Okay, cool. Have you ever done it before? Yes, I've done it before. What's the impact? I've taken businesses to 8 figures. I've helped people go from people that you know and love, and we all do, that have gone from 6 figures in debt to 6-figure months. Okay. Wow. And so it's literally all you got to do is shift the mindset to say, no, you're not trying to sell somebody anything. You can't sell people stuff. All you can do is shine a light like the experience that you had on the pathway that you guys need to understand that you need to take for your business to get it to the next level. The sales professional should only be the guide in that whole journey. That's it. Should never be the hero.
And this is
just drop the mic. Drop it.
Yeah, this is amazing, man. I'm loving this conversation. Thank you so much.
I feel like you needed this today.
I do need this. I needed this because here's the thing. Like I believe 100% in our systems of what we do within our business, but lately I personally been like, okay, we need more clients. We need a way to get more clients, right? And we're getting conversations, right? We're getting our conversations, which is absolutely fantastic, right? But I've been wanting to dive a little bit in prospecting, and we didn't have the knowledge, right, for that. And we still have a lot to learn. But today you have given me so much clarity. And, a few months ago, I was reading 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel. And one of the parts of the book that I remember the most was the sales part. He's like, if you can have the greatest business in the world, but if you don't have, he calls it a distribution channel. But if you don't have a distribution channel, right, like that produce sales, is game over, right? And he goes back to what Russell always says. He's like, people used to think that if you build something that is good enough, people will come, but that's not true. That's not how it is, right? And I think that has been a big part of our journey because, we always strive to be the best, right? But that's not enough. Like you can be the best, but if nobody knows you're out there, nothing is going to happen. So for me, I see prospecting now as being proactive. Like you got to be proactive and find those people. Like, yes, there are people that are going to find you and start the conversation, right? And that's why we create so much content, and that's why we put ourselves out there to start those conversations. But as well, when you need to be proactive sometimes and go get those people. And when you get them, they're going to probably research you sometimes, and they're going to go to your profile and what we call the safety net effect. They're going to see that you've been publishing, right? And that what you talk is true. And they're going to say, okay, I can trust this guy, right? Because he knows what he's talking about. They've been doing it for so long. So I think it's a great balance. It's like a great marriage, rather. Not that I know about being married because I'm the only single one in this conversation right here. But man, I just love it. It's absolutely
it's just
fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I know Katie's listening. It's amazing. I'm kidding. She never listens to my episodes. She hates my radio voice. It's all good. Dude, Sean, I see you also mentioned something really important, right? Because at first, before we even had the show, I think we're episode 83 today. Wow. Time flies, right? But before that, right, one of our stories is like we were actually selling these social media marketing agencies, right? The content kind of deal. And our clients were having awesome results. Mm-hmm. And we will show our prospecting or the meetings that we're having in person, like all those results. But then they will go to our stuff and they're like, you guys are not publishing. What's the deal there, right? And then the trust level just like plummeted big time. Mm-hmm. So obviously we were executing for clients, but we were not in the driver's seat on like the product itself, right? And what executing on our product allowed us to do was to actually like love it, like know it ins and out. And now I can have a conversation. It's like, man, I was where you are sitting right now. I know how that feels. And I know I can help you. Just like, this is how we help each other, right? And then you want to get there, I'm there. Here's what we need to do. This is the plan, because we've done it not only with us, but multiple times with anything. And you mentioned that earlier, right? That person that's having that conversation has to have to be a true believer of that product that they're actually promoting or having these conversations. Now, with that said, I want to transition a little bit on your point of view on content, right? Because when the way that we see it is, content is the start of your sale, right? It's like those initial points of contact that you might have with an audience that's out there, but it's part of the sale, right? So it's not separate from the sales process. Is the start. That's how we started to see it, right? So we're like, okay, if that's the start of the sale, how can we actually multiply as much points of contact as possible, but keeping our time? And that's basically the formula that we created with the M2M, and basically the service that we do, right? And then the conversation happens, right? So we make all these points of contact through content. Yep. You have your system as well, which is awesome. And I want to figure out how to marry both of them. And then the conversation. But I'm very curious, now that you guys are very focused on that on your system, what's the role on content? Like, how do you see it? And if you disagree with us, that's totally okay.
Yeah. Okay, so first off, I freaking love what you guys do, and I stand behind your mission, and I will cheer you to the biggest mountaintops, 10 times bigger than Mount Everest, all every 7 days of the week, because I love what you guys serve into the market. We talked about the problem that you solve. What do you guys solve? You solve an exposure problem. Like, that's literally what you guys do in a big fashion, because listen, there's a lot of the best ideas. Do you know where all the best kept secrets and best ideas in the world are that we'll never ever get access to?
In our heads?
In the graveyard.
Oh.
Because the people that are in the graveyard never found people like you to expose the message and the brilliance in their mind.
That was deep.
Wow.
That was good.
Yeah.
And that's my point, right? So I believe publishing should be number one. Why? Because it gets you over a fear of public speaking, which is a big fear for a lot of people. It gets you to understand your vocals, your chops. You develop the speech patterns. You start to hear what people are saying. You integrate that back into the content. You learn the message. You understand the message that they want to hear. And then now you have the content to be able to turn around and have a kick-ass selling conversation on the backside. Yes, 100% they're married. Yes, everybody should publish every single day of the week. 100%. And using your systems, you can just multiply the exposure effect and you win. Why? Because it's literally the category king of exposure and attraction marketing. That's what I'd call you guys.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
That means the world. Thank you so much.
Rafa, editor, whoever's like watching this right now, this is the clip that's the only clip that you need, my man. Okay.
There you go. So like going back to it, like, so if you're just getting started, you're a business owner, you got 10 million things to do. How do you publish without using your guys' service? Here's a quick secret. Okay. Figure out the questions that your prospect asks. Go live for 2 to 5 minutes and answer those questions, and just do it 3 days a week. That's all I do. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every single morning, I have a list. Our EA just puts a whole list of questions for me. And I literally will highlight this one. I'm like, I'm going to talk about that one today. And I hit the live button on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And I talk for 2 to 5 minutes answering that question. And I say, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. End.
Wow. I love it. I love that, and that resonates with us so much because that's how we started before we actually developed the system and we started selling the process now that we have and using the process that we have in ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We did the 45 live challenge, right? And for us, it looked going live every single day. And, now literally every time someone asks me, I'm like, 45 challenge. Like, hey, how can I post 45 live, right? Like, just go live, put yourself out there and start developing that voice. And every single person that we've recommended it to, we always hear good things. So I love that you actually are still doing that. You're like, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I grab one question that they're asking and I just create a little piece of content and put it out there. And I think the key here is that you have been consistent, right?
I was going to say that's 100% the word. Like if people can't commit to 45-day live like you guys did, then what's the cadence? What's the schedule? What's the rhythm that they can consistently hit that number? Because guess what? There's only a couple of things that'll make you a superstar in any business, right? Conviction, always number one. Consistency, number two. Persistency, number three. That's it. When you have those three things, and you're convicted about what you're doing and the message and the problem that you're solving at the end of the day, like you can create the biggest impact in the world that you ever want to.
Wow. Well, I need to ask again. What was that there? What was conviction, consistency, and
persistency?
Persistency. Awesome.
I'm going to like it down. Good.
Yeah. Okay. All this that you've told today, I feel like I'm about to, make a cool design, print it up and put it on my wall. Like in front behind my computer, I have this wall with full of papers and like cool things that I've learned from, the awesome guests that we've had at Content is Profit. But it honestly looks not very good looking because
there's a reason we don't put the camera on that side.
There's a bunch of like tape and stuff. Like it looks ugly, so I need to make it look super nice. And trust me, yours is gonna take a big part of that wall. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Sean, like the tagline on the show is like how to get to frictionless sale. I feel like this episode specifically is the roadmap to that, right? If we combine both superpowers, it is what it is. That's the secret formula. And then now people, if you're listening, if you're watching, go out and execute. That's it. Just like literally transcribe. Well, if you want the transcription of this episode, let us know. We'll send it to you. Go to the group. I'm assuming we're promoting that in just a second. Go connect with Sean, and this is the roadmap. This is the cash flow. This is the blood flow that your business needs, and amazing. And the habits that your business needs to build as well. Woo, baby,
this is awesome.
Wow, man. Okay, so last question, Sean. Questions in plural, in with an S at the end. Okay, what is a quick thing that people can do today, like to get a quick win towards that frictionless sale, right? I know we talked a lot about a lot of things like high level strategy, execution, but what's that quick win that we can get, if we execute this afternoon?
So what I would say is open up a Google Sheet, very simply, and set yourself up a couple of columns. The first column is going to be the name column. The second column is going to be the date column. And then literally go into whatever social channel that you love, whether it be LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and choose 3 people that you think are going to be the perfect client for you and send them a message. Hey, my name is name. I'm reaching out to you because I think we may be a fit to work together. I'd like to strike up a conversation. I'm wondering if you struggle with this one thing that I solve. And that's it. And if you do that consistently, you could start with 3 people a day. When I first started, I started with 3 people a day. And it was literally, I'm going to just step over that speed bump and take action. Because when you do it the first time, it gets easier the second, the third, the fourth. Then it becomes a system. Then it becomes a habit. You said it.
Yep.
Right? Because I do every single day, here's what I do. For my prospecting personally, I'll share every morning I get up and I call it building greatness. I get up early before the sun comes up. And then I actually reach out to 30 new people that I believe are going to be a perfect fit for the problem that I solve, so I can help them to create bigger impact. And I list them on my own little spreadsheet. My spreadsheet's a little bit bigger than just 2 columns though, because then I wrote a script that I use almost every single time. So that first message is just the first message. And then when they reply back, yeah, I'd have a conversation. My next message is gonna be like, great, here's my scheduling link. Pick a time that's easy for us to chat. I want 20 minutes. Here's what the agenda of the meeting is gonna be.
Yep.
And now you're into a call and now you're having a conversation. And now it's just a conversion conversation. You just start the flow of the conversion. Again, match them, set the rules of the call or the game, understand their pains, as we call it. Like, do they have the problem that you solve? Yes or no? If no, go to referral. If yes, let's talk about your budget and your buying process. When you have those 3 things, set the clear future. Hey, I know I can solve this problem for you. I'm going to take everything you shared with me today. I'm going to go back into my team. I'm going to work up a custom tailored proposal, and we're going to meet back on this day. In the meantime, I need you to do this one thing. Get out your calendar. We're going to meet at this time and day. Does that sound okay? Yes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Got it. Right?
Yeah.
I keep thinking we tend to overcomplicate things.
Yes.
This was so simple.
Yes.
Go out and execute. Go out and execute. We don't have to complicate things. You're going to get traction as soon as you start doing this. It's going to happen. There's going to be people that are going to be interested in what you do. So go do it.
And the last thing I'll share is this. Like, whenever you start something new, if you've never done this before, it's going to be a little scary. But if you're not walking on that scared line, you're taking up too much space. If you're not walking on that scared line, you're not growing. I call it the growth line. I don't call it the scared line. Because when you feel that uncomfort, like, oh, this is like really new and different and kind of exciting but scary at the same time, that's the growth line. We should always walk that at least once a day.
Yes.
Right?
Wow.
And so, and to say this is, listen, like anything anyone starts for the first time, you're going to suck. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have permission to suck, because as you do it again, you're going to suck less. And like Garrett White always says, eventually you're going to suck so little that you actually become good.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, one of the tricks that we use ourselves internally, or at least I use, is I know that the M2M, the content momentum program that we sell for content is the thing that you need to multiply your message, right? Like, it's going to save you a ton of time. I know for a fact because we use it every single day. Mm-hmm. So what I'm thinking is like, for that yes, right, I'm going to be helping them so much more. So I need to like go after those yeses. I need to find those people because their life is going to be so much better. And, you know, earlier we had a conversation about serving your audience, your clients, whatever. That's like, imagine the positive impact that has your service or whatever you're selling to that person that is ideal client to you is. And then the positive impact that then they're going to be able to do because you actually exchange money for the services or the product that you're doing. So awesome.
And that's why you guys win at the highest level. And I love, if you guys haven't worked with these guys, go work with them. You're hearing my voice right now. Go sign up for their program, because literally they'll change your life. I guarantee it. That's what they do. Like, you guys are amazing.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
So much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite question on the show. We say, where would you be if you did not publish?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd probably be at the bottom of a liquor bottle in Las Vegas somewhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Rough.
Yeah.
I know Fonzie wants to be there once or twice, but it's okay.
I never been to Vegas. You say you're throwing this out there, but if you are listening and you live in Las Vegas, you know, let me know.
He's single and ready to mingle, guys. Come on. No, that's
no. I'd say if I didn't publish, I think we would be we wouldn't have been able to accelerate. We wouldn't have been able to create the exposure and the message, because just like you guys, you're amazing. You have so much knowledge in your brains, and it's your job. It's your calling to help people with the stuff you know and get them to make a bigger impact with the people they serve. That's what it's all about. You guys understand that philosophy. I'm convicted more about what you guys do and what I do than almost anything else on the planet, because I know publishing and then having a great process system and then a conversion conversation will fix any business.
Yep. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you. And, you know, we actually have a comment here. We have a few comments. We got Nate. He was like, love this. Get the fire. And he just said, that was amazing. Thank you, Sean. And, you know, that we back up that comment 180% because that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
Dude, how can people connect with you, man? How can people get in touch with you? How can people have these conversations, which I experienced, and it was amazing. And that's one of the reasons we're like, Sean, we need to bring you onto the show. Like that, it needs to happen. So how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so you could just reach out to my personal Facebook. Just look up Sean Malone. It's my name. It's Sean Malone 28. I think it's a picture of me and Melissa, my wife. And you can hit me up in a personal message. Or if you want to if you're a business owner and you sell B2B, then come join our family, our Sales Ascenders family. Just look up Facebook group, and it's Sales Ascenders Inner Circle.
Awesome.
Yep.
We encourage everyone that is listening to go and join the group and send them a message
I'm
and
just-
schedule a call.
I'm just gonna plug in here. Whenever you request to be in the group, just ask them for the interview that they had with the Biz Bros. Just saying, they can go there too and learn more. So we're gonna leave all the links right in the description. So guys, all you gotta do is to scroll down and click and go there, and they'll be happy to connect with you.
Yeah.
Sean, don't leave, because we have the Hispanic goodbye coming to you. And with that being said, yes, thank you so much for tuning into the Content Profit podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media at the Biz Bros Co.
That is right. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you did because it was mind-blowing,
Yes.
don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Success, Sean. That was so good.
We're still on Facebook, so we got a tradition, Sean. We are going to take a little selfie.
Before we take the picture, Sean, I want you to know that I appreciate the dance moves, man. So
Love it. You got the moves.
you got the moves.
It's like you being in Vegas or something.
Yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah.
All right, Sean, let's get ready. We're going to smile to the camera. 1, 2, 3. Sweet.
All right.
Awesome.
We need to start printing all those pictures. So
I know,
we can
man.
put it
Plaster the
back
wall.
here.
Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's it. All right.
Yeah.
See you guys later.